Alright guys, welcome back. We are watching Sousou no Frieren, Season 1, Episode 14. Last time, we met Sign, our new party member for now. He is fulfilling his dream to be an adventurer. Very cool, very cool. What else? Stark almost died from some snake poison. That was pretty nice. Frieren showed off her charms, I guess you could say. I don't know, it's been, these last few episodes have just been some very good. I really enjoy them. Like kind of the kind of episodic nature of it as we just, as we continue making progress in our journey. Really very nice, very nice. I can't believe we're on episode 14 already. How many episodes does the first season have? It's like a weird number. It's like 26 or 28 or something. But I don't know. We're getting there, I guess. The goal is I hope I'll be able to start season 2 around the same time that we're finishing this. Because I know that starts like January. I don't know when exactly, but if we have like 12, 14 episodes left, maybe about 3 months. Yeah, so it'll be around the time that it starts that I should be able to just go right to season 2. So that's the goal. That'll be nice. That'll be cool. Anyway, this is episode 14. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. 29 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the Rad region located in the northern lands. Yet another town. Looks a little bit bigger, huh? Ooh, been here before as well. Hmm. Sure, sure. Come on, be excited. He's asking on a date. Huh. Wonder what she's thinking about from that moment. Exactly. Ooh, looking at the clock. Time. Time is always a factor, huh? Interesting, interesting. It must feel so significant for her. We always get these scenes, of course, where she thinks back on something that she experienced in like the same place when they were, because they are retracing the steps of their adventure from before, right? But it must just feel so significant now to, as she is literally retracing those steps, to like be able to think back on those moments and like get something out of that adventure that in the moment 80 years ago, it's like she was unable to learn something from it or was unwilling to change as a person, whatever you want to say her attitude was back then, right? I don't know, it just must feel so significant to her to like literally be retracing her steps in that way, you know? Hmm. Oh, that's the hero's sword, isn't it? In that shot. Yeah, 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 of course, of course. Hmm. Still haven't seen her. Still haven't seen her. Alrighty. Episode 14, Privilege of the Young. Interesting. Is Frieren young in a way? Maybe. Whoa, 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 whoa. Calm down. What happened? Jeez. I bet it's something stupid, but oh, really? Okay. So, well, yeah. Hmm. Sure, very true. She does always, well, you don't know. Okay, don't say that. Kill him, actually. Hmm. Yet another Frone birthday, huh? So what he should buy something for her. Come on. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the situation, I guess. Hmm. I just wonder what happened to cause that reaction exactly, you know? Man. Because Fern always does kind of, have a weird attitude about Stark, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I would expect him to want to buy something for her. Obviously. Hmm. Sure. Interesting. Hmm. Of course, of course. Like maybe. I think I don't know if it's that exactly. I think it's more personal than that. Hmm. Yeah, probably. I exactly. Yeah, birthdays for him were never a big thing, right? Well, sure, sure. Okay, okay. Because just like how Fern probably didn't know what exactly to get him, right? I don't think he knows exactly what to get her, right? I don't know, it doesn't have to be like a big deal, right? I don't think he's against the idea of buying you a present. I like Sign. I mean, in a sense, he's kind of the only real adult in the party, right? Another statue. Don't kick him. Sure, he's gonna apologize, yeah. Of course, of course. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Obviously. Well, and like in a way, honestly, she does always kind of act like that, right? She doesn't make herself the most approachable to Stark. That's not good. You shouldn't be used to it. That was nice. That was very nice. Frieren, what are you doing up there? Just watching them from a roof. Of course, of course. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sure. At the same time, I think that avoidance of conflict can, I don't know, I think go too far at times as well. I don't know. There's something to think about there. Exactly, exactly. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I guess he knew Heizer too, of course. And yet he was a great priest anyway, right? Uh-huh, uh-huh. In a way, in a way. And I think he was. He was, despite all of that, right? Yeah. Interesting. It makes you wonder, does an ideal grown up even exist, right? It's not like he was a different person then, though, right? Hmm. Oh. I, yeah, yeah. I think that's how a lot of people feel, right? Hmm. I think most people do in a way. Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Might as well praise him here too. Don't make him wait. Interesting. Huh. Just like him rubbing her head after Himmel's death, right? Of course. Frieren deserves it more than anyone, in a way. Yeah, he's not grown up enough to appreciate it yet. Yeah, there's Frieren right there. Come on. Nice. Oh God, Stark, calm down. You're really overthinking it. 29 years after the death of Himmel the Hero in the Banned Woods, located in the Northern Lands. Very nice, very nice. Then you have to pay for it, huh? Ah, an accessory shop. Ooh. Oh, we did get it. Okay. Oh, sure. Oh, that's very yeah. Himmel gave her that. Stark gave her that. That what she lost it. Like, there's no way she lost the ring. So come on. Okay, thank God. Oh, okay. Everything exploded. Right. I should have seen that coming. Oh God, don't lose it. Actually, what is happening? Oh, okay. Right, right. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Of course. An avian monster. Look at the horse. Like, we can just wait. We can just let it bring us wherever. Oh, interesting. God, its teeth look terrifying. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, remember when Qual was so excited. I mean, so surprised, not excited, that she could fly. Interesting. And then Stark has to jump. Exactly, exactly. No, you'll be fine. You can do it. Why, is that how it works? Aizen can do it, of course. Yeah, 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 obviously, obviously. Ow. No, no, that must be perfectly normal, right? Surely Stark can do that. Maybe if you can do it for like a second, yeah. Sure, true. You'd have to time it perfectly. We can just wait, we just let it bring us wherever. Oh, I never mind. Oh. Okay, we gotta go now. What are we? Alrighty, we're doing something. Okay. I guess we're doing it. God, she's so cool. Just going for it. Look at Ferd's face in that shot. No, they're all dead. It's over. End of the show. What? The horse. How shocking. Barely. Okay, okay. Oh yeah, the carriage. Can we fix it with magic? Well, yeah, we all would have died, so. Hmm. God, he is strong, huh? Where's the ring? Oh God. Oh no. Starting to get warmer. Okay, that's nice. 3 hours. I guess it was probably fun, right? Oh, that's why he was stressing out so much. Of course, of course. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And then he looks at her face and she's yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You gotta give him something. Come on. Like, sure, if you're so sure of that, I suppose. Fern, you could have helped, and Stark, I guess you could have just like asked her, "Hey, do you like this?" But either way, I guess it worked out. Oh, I see, I see. Of course, neither of them know about that, though, right? That's whoa. Whoa, like, come on. No, it's fine. She likes it. Exactly. Hmm. I wonder if Himmel knew about that, though, huh? Where's the ring? We gotta find it. Come on. I'm sure she'll find it. It would be so sad if she didn't. I can imagine her not finding it. Because I suppose that's not the ring that's important, right? But still. Really spoiling me with 2 montages, huh? Frieren, what are you doing? Oh. Yeah, wants to go look for it, I'm sure. Hmm. Because it's always meant a lot to her, right? Like, I mean, there's the shot of her looking at it in episode one, right after the funeral. Hmm. Oh, do we really want to leave, though? Oh, I wonder if she will want to stay just to look for it, or... Yeah, but I wonder if she's going to say no. Yeah. Interesting. Sure, but I wonder, I wonder. Well, I think perhaps I maybe, yeah. Huh. Hmm. Oh, okay. Sure, sure. The lost accessory spell. Maybe it'll work, maybe it'll work. It better. Ooh, that was a very cool shot. I liked her hair in that shot. Ah, this was on their way back. You pick it for her, Himmel. Oh, he knows what it means. He knows what it means. God, her face. Oh, let's go. God, he's so much taller than her. He always says her name so softly. Gonna put it on her? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. Hmm. All this time. I'm sure she is. I'm sure it also hurts in a way, right? Maybe, maybe. Sure, sure. If you say so. If you say so. Hmm. Ah, God, that was such a good episode. Man, it's every episode, every episode. It's crazy. The consistency of this show, huh? Man. Hmm. Ah, just so good. So good. Hmm. I can't wait to get to heaven and talk to Himmel again. You know? I hope we do, but I wonder. Because it's just things like this where I just wonder, like, I don't know. I don't know. Man, I don't know. Just things like this where Frieren has, like, this new perspective, perhaps, on their relationship that I just wonder how many things she will have to say to him if she has the opportunity to. Anyway, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. That was such a good one. Man, the consistency of this show is crazy. Just every episode is just so good. I don't know. It's really something special, huh? I understand why this show is like number one on my anime list or whatever. I remember when this show came out, people making a big deal out of this. How like it was like FMAB was number one for so long, and this passed it or whatever. I feel like 99% people don't care about that, but I just remember seeing that, and I guess I understand why, right? Like it's so good. God, it's so good. So we've arrived in a new town. What? They don't tell us the name of this town. It's just the Rad region. Pretty big place. Seems like one of the biggest places we've had in a while. It seems like at the end here, if I'm not mistaken, we're approaching an even bigger city, right? Yeah, something. That is the way we're headed, right? Yeah, we're going that way. Or no, we're heading away. Never mind, right? I believe so. No, we are heading that way. No, we are going that way. So we're reaching an even a very, very big city. Maybe next time, it would seem. So that's exciting. But anyway, it is a town, whole bunch of shops. Frieren has been here before. This is where Himmel bought her that ring. We finally understand the meaning of that ring, which is pretty cool. It's been in the opening. She looked at it so much after the end of episode one, or near the end of episode one after Himmel's death, right? It makes you wonder. Frieren says she didn't know what it means this whole time, and maybe it's true that she didn't understand that there was this connotation, like this direct association between the ring and like eternal love or whatever, like in the region, right? But for her, it certainly had a lot of meaning in terms of her relationship with Himmel, right? And I guess that's what like really matters, right? That's like the actual important thing. So yeah, sure, sure. And she was looking at the clock, or the clock was yeah, the clock. Time is always a factor in this show, huh? For Frieren especially. So, God, we start with honestly maybe the harshest moment in the entire show between two characters, which is this argument between Stark and Fern. God, we have never actually had any like character interaction that has been this this dramatic. Frankly, God, it is a big difference for this show, honestly. He's so, I don't know. I get it. I guess I understand, right? Like cuz think about it from both of their perspectives, right? Like Stark, okay. Fern, frankly, doesn't do a very good job at making herself very approachable for Stark, right? Um I guess the question is why? Why has Fern always had this attitude about Stark, right? And I mean, it goes back to like the very beginning when she kind of thought like what, he was just kind of like a loser. She just immediately like she wanted to immediately give up on him, right? And not she didn't believe in him the same way that Frieren did. And like we've talked about that before about how it kind of makes sense with like, she with like the way she was raised, her circumstances in life, all of that, it kind of makes sense why someone like Stark, or like the way that she at least saw Stark originally, like being like this coward and all of this. Why she wouldn't like people like that very much. Obviously Stark isn't actually like that, but ever since then, she has always kind of had this attitude about him, right? Which has always just been kind of a joke. It's never been like that serious. But I can understand why for Stark it would be like kind of it is like a thing, right? It's something that like I understand him. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I'm going back to my master. God, it's that serious, huh? Man. But I guess like from his perspective, I guess we don't really know like what actually happened here. We don't know like what what the conversation was like before this moment. I do wonder, right? But it's like from my perspective, I just think obviously Stark was going to buy her a birthday present or wanted to buy her a birthday present, right? I guess he just didn't. It was just a failure of communication between both of them, really, right? Like, I don't want to say either of them are more at fault than the other. I just think, like, for Fern, she doesn't do a very good job at making herself approachable for him, and for Stark, well, I don't know. For Stark, I guess like it just depends how this conversation went down. But I feel like if all he had done was be like, "Yeah, I want to buy a birthday present with you," I feel like she would have been like, "Okay," and they would have just went and gone and bought one. So I don't know. It's just a failure of communication on both of their ends, I suppose, right? Like, I don't know. Hmm. It just depends how that conversation went down, though. I just can't imagine that Stark went up to her and was like, yeah, you want to go buy a birthday present, and then she got really mad at him, right? I can't imagine that, but it makes me think, like, how did the conversation actually go down? I don't know. I don't know. Probably Stark was being weird about the whole birthday situation, and he was too, like, nervous to say that he wanted to buy one with her. So then Fern took that as him, like, what, just not wanting to buy her a present, which is, like, stupid. Obviously, she shouldn't take it that way, because of course he would want to buy her one. But, again, it's on both of them, like, in a way, right? Fern's birthday yet again. So how old is she now? I've been doing such a bad job keeping track of the timeline. Has it been 2 years? Was it 27 years since the death of Himmler the hero on her last birthday? So now she would be 18. I think so, right? Probably. The biggest pout of all time, man. Honestly, like part of this whole dynamic here is that it really is it's the similarity between Frieren and Fern, where both of them have like this emotional distancing in relationships, right? Where Fern, being around Frieren for so long, has always been kind of she has kind of been like emotionally more put together than Frieren has been, right? Like Frieren, how we've always had like this dynamic where it's almost like Frieren is Frieren's mom instead of the other way around, right? Where it's like Frieren's issue with this whole emotional distancing thing has always been so much more significant than from Fern that I feel like Fern actually has a lot of work to do in relationships with someone like Stark, who is a lot more of a normal person than Frieren is. You know what I mean? Like, because I guess I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at Fern pouting like this and thinking about what's going on in her head. And it's like, this isn't a good reaction to have to anything, right? Like, Fern, you can do better than this too, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just something to think about, I suppose. Hmm. Men don't care about little things like birthdays and anniversaries. That's not the answer here. Like, come on, you kind of deserve to get kicked in a way. And I don't think she just wants you to buy something for her either. I really think, like, in a way, it's just for Fern. Obviously, she really wants Stark to buy a present for her. That's the important thing about this, right? That's why she feels so hurt about it, is she just wants him to buy a present for her, right? But like what? She's not really being like her reaction to that is to what? Just get mad at him about it, right? Like that's not right. That's not really what you should do, right? I feel like it's I don't know, right? Like hmm hmm hmm. I agree with Sign that she should go after him. That's for sure. Sign, in a lot of ways, is the only grown up here, the only person who, like, Frieren got a lot of stuff going on. Fern has just lived like a weird life, right? It makes sense that Fern would struggle, and I mean, same with Stark, right? Stark and Fern have both kind of had similar like upbringings in the sense that most of their adolescence has been being around one person, right? Fern and Frieren have just had this relationship for a long time. Stark's kind of like newer to it, right? For Stark, he obviously grew up in like a weird, the situation in his village wasn't very good. And then he was with Eisen for so long, who also has like his own issues and all of this, right? So both of them, in a sense, are kind of, they're not really adults yet, right? That's what this is all about, right? The privilege of being young. Frieren, despite how old she isn't really an adult either, right? She has a lot of catching up to do, and that's okay. It's never too late, right? Um, so Sign kind of, is the only one who is like an adult in a way, right? Sign obviously has his own problems, right? Like the question is, what does it even mean to be an adult, right? Like we kind of bring that up with like Heiter, right? It's not like Heiter was perfect, right? It's not like anyone's perfect, you know. What does it mean to be an adult, you know? I don't know, right? There's always more progress to be made, of course. Hmm. She's too afraid to approach him, of course. It's hard. It's rough. And it's interesting. It's like for Sign, it's so easy for him to just pick something up and be like, oh, I'll just buy this for her. Because he has a much less close relationship with her than Stark does, right? For Stark, obviously buying her a birthday present is harder, and it's something that he has to put a lot more thought into that he wants to do with her, because they have a much closer relationship than Sign and her do, right? Like, obviously. So again, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's not, I don't know. Both of them should have just done better. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Hmm. You just don't know how to interact with boys of your age. And I don't know, like that's it in a sense, but I also think it is just more personal than that, right? Like her dynamic with Stark is more it's not just like that general thing, right? But in a way, I guess you kind of say it is, right? Fern really doesn't have practice just like having a relationship with someone her own age, right? Like yeah, yeah. Hmm. Even if he forgot to get you a gift, I think you overreacted. He didn't forget for sure, right? And but it is true, obviously, that birthdays for him, this is kind of a new thing as well, right? He didn't, you know, birthday presents literally just like weren't a thing in his mind before, right? And like, yeah, Fern, you bought a present for him, but you did it with him, right? I'm sure he wants to do the same thing, obviously. Of course, of course. Normally, no one declines when someone offers to buy them whatever they want. Of course, right. Happened with Frieren and Himmel, right? If Himmel, I do wonder. I was thinking about that, about how like I wish Himmel had been the one to pick out the ring, but maybe Frieren would have like been weird about it if he hadn't just let Frieren pick out whatever she wanted. You know, that honestly, in a way, that makes it more meaningful, right? That like the intention behind it there, you know? Hmm. She did just feel like it, I suppose, right? Just like Stark does too. To apologize to Stark and pick out a gift with him, of course. He's just a kid, he's slow on the uptake. Both of them are, in a sense, right? Because it really is. It's like Fern has had to kind of grow up so fast, right? We've talked about that before, about how her family died, and Heiter died when she was really young. And then she was just dealing with Frieren all the time from a pretty young age, right? She really did have to grow up so fast, you know. She really had so little opportunity to like be a normal kid, right? Obviously, it's pretty hard to be a normal kid when your family dies and then you know, like crazy shit's going on in her early life, you know. Rough, rough. People won't know how you feel unless you tell them, right? And of course, Sign would know that better than anyone with like his dynamic with his brother, right? Like how much regret he must have of not telling his brother like his intention behind what he thought he was doing for him the whole time in the last episode, right? Staying in the village just for him, you know. Man, I like Sign. I like Sign. Another statue of Himmel the hero, and he's looking at it. Wonder what Stark thinks about Himmel. You know, I mean, obviously he's like a figure of legend for him, right? But ever since the whole thing about him not being a real hero in a sense, I just wonder. I don't know. I wonder how his thoughts about him might have changed. I wonder what his thoughts about him even were before. You know, we don't really know explicitly, but I wonder if he idolized him. He probably still does, I assume, right? It's not like that changes, just knowing that he's not a real hero, whatever that even means, right? I guess my argument would be Himmel is a real hero. He doesn't have to be able to pull the sword of the hero out to be a real hero, right? And of course Stark apologizes. He never meant anything wrong, right? Neither of them did, right? Like, yeah, you know. I guess it's saying something that our most dramatic moments between two characters in the show is this. It's still so low stakes. They're both still so well meaning. They both still so they're so you know. Of course, of course. Hmm. Thought you'd get upset with me again if I said that, so I couldn't. Fern, I hope Fern will stop acting like that as much. I wouldn't be upset with you. But honestly, Fern, you kind of do act like that a lot. But, like, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if from her, if it kind of comes from a place of insecurity as well, right? Because a lot of the time when she does act like that with Stark, is when he kind of when he does something that is kind of like embarrassing and like embarrassing in the way of he's kind of shows his emotions in a way that Fern never really does, right? Like a lot of the times from him, it's something where he does kind of just act childish and he does kind of act like like with the clouds that look like poop or with him whining all the time, stuff like that, right? Stuff where it's the opposite of the way Fern always acts, right? Again, it's like how Fern was forced to grow up so quickly. It makes sense that she has a distaste for someone like Stark, or that she would kind of feel like she has this automatic distaste for like that behavior, where he doesn't have the same kind of filter she does, right? He is able to show his emotions and acts kind of childish in a way that she never does, right? And I understand why she would have this disdain for those moments, even though I feel like the real answer to it should be she can just kind of act like that too if she wants to, you know? It's kind of like the whole like the way that in real life people act like showing your emotions about anything is like cringe, right? That's a big thing about just, I don't know, society and culture in general that people bring up all the time, right? That like expressing your genuine feelings and interest in things is something that's just like cringe and weird, right? For Fern, it's not exactly like that, but I can understand her having a similar reaction to Stark acting the way he does all the time, right? I feel like really the answer to that is Fern can just, I don't know, I understand Fern's attitude because of like the way her life has played out, right? The way she's kind of been forced to take up this mantle of being like so much like an adult, you know? But I don't know, maybe the lesson here can be to lighten up a little bit, honestly. I don't know. Hmm. God, such a sad shot. It's fine, I'm used to it. God. Hmm. God, it really looked for a second like they were gonna hold hands, but no, of course not. Not yet, not yet. So close, so close. And Frieren is watching them from the roof. Like they Sign somehow knew that this would be the roof watching spot to spy on them. You understand relationships better once you're older. You start avoiding conflict then. And that's interesting, the idea of avoiding conflict when you're older, right? I don't know if that's like a good thing, right? I feel like the tendency to want to avoid conflict is something that actually just leads to like deterioration in relationships long term, right? I guess it depends, right? You have to be able to approach the conflict in like a good way, right? Um, but I feel like that's generally not a good tendency, right? Because you could almost say the tendency to avoid conflict in a much more extreme way has been what has led Frieren to having her stance on relationship that she has, right? Like, not really conflict exactly, unless you want to say that relationships ending one day could be caused by conflict. And of course, that's what Frieren is that's what her whole thing is about, right? Relationships ending. That's the issue for her, right? For everyone, in a sense, right? But I think being able to like handle conflict in a relationship is probably like the most important thing, honestly, right? And I feel like adults, as you grow older, wanting to avoid that and just like settling with, learning to, I guess, settle with a relationship not working out perfectly and being able to just like handle some low level of turmoil at all time and never actually address it, right? That's not really a good thing, right? Like yes, it is like a very childish thing to blow up and act crazy about like a tiny little thing. Like this whole birthday situation for both of their ends, right? Stark probably shouldn't have been yelling about how he's going to go back to his master and all of this. Fern should have been acting the way she was, right? Obviously, for both of them, they could have handled this conflict much better, right? But I think avoiding the conflict entirely wouldn't have been better either, right? Like what? So then Stark would have just not bought her a present because he was too scared to approach her about it, and Fern would have just not said anything about it because she didn't want to like have a big conflict. Like that's not good, right? Looking after two kids sure sounds tough, but she doesn't get it at all. Yeah. What do you mean by understanding relationships? Like the very essence of what she's saying here, she doesn't understand at all. Hmm. I wonder who she's comparing me to. Heiter, of course. Of course. Hmm. He was drunk and hungover, picky with his food, lied all the time, and yet he was still an adult, yet he was still a great priest. He was still a great man, right? Of course. You don't have to be perfect, obviously. The Mr. Hyter I remember was a kind and dependable old man, and he was, right? He was ideal in a sense, right? But I mean, I guess the truth behind this obviously is there's no such thing as like an ideal person in that way, you know. The same way Himmel is idolized as like the hero, you know. And there's like these legends have been created of him pulling out the sword, being the chosen one, you know. Himmel was just a person, just like everyone else, right? We talk about how he was vain and he was all of these things, you know. He was just a person, you know. So was Heiter, you know. Heiter is someone that people look up to so much. He's matured so much. He's still the same person, you know. Hmm. The truth is, my mind has hardly changed since I was a child. I've simply been pretending to be an adult until I can make it as an ideal grown up. And I think that's just how it is for everyone, right? I don't think anyone is ever like, oh yeah, I'm exactly who I want to be now. I think everyone feels like they're pretending in some sense, you know? Like, yeah, like, I mean, it's kind of like imposter syndrome in general, you know? Hmm. Probably keep pretending till the day I die. I think everyone does, you know? I think everyone is always feels like they're pretending in a way. But I guess, like, the interesting thing to think about is like if you're pretending to act a certain way and you feel like the way that you're acting is just you putting on an act, how is that any different than that just like being you? Right? Like it's weird because then it's like we're separating this idea of the intentionality behind your actions and then being like something that just comes naturally to you not having to put on an act or pretend, and like the actual like real you, right? And I just don't know if that distinction is like real, right? I feel like who you are is made up by your actions and the way that you portray yourself to other people, whether or not you have to actively like do that or not. Because I think everyone has to pretend to be like the ideal grown up, whatever that even means, you know? I don't think it just naturally comes to anyone. You know, you always have to put in the effort, and that doesn't mean you're pretending. That doesn't mean you're like fake, you know? Hmm. Who will praise you for pretending to the day you die? That's what the goddess is for. They will have to wait until I go to heaven to receive my reward. Well, let's praise you while you're here, right? Exactly. Exactly. Don't want to have to wait. Pats his head, of course. Just like he did for her after Himmel's death in episode 1. Frieren, once I go to heaven, I'll speak with the goddess for you. You should be praised by her, of course. She deserves it more than anyone with how long she's been here, huh? Man. God, Stark is really freaking out looking at this bracelet. Well, he has to assess her reaction, of course, when she's always just deadpan like this. But in the end, he finds out that she liked it. He figures it out somehow. He manages it. 29 years after the death of Himmel the hero in the Banned Woods, located in the Northern Lands. We get this horse. We get a passage through the woods. This guy runs an accessory shop, and she's got a new bracelet, and she's so like embarrassed to say it's from Stark. Hmm. And finally, we learn about this ring. The ring means like eternal love, which is very, I don't know, that's very nice. I always wondered, it always meant something important, right, to Frieren as well. Again, it's like, I think whatever it means like societally, the true meaning that really matters is what it means between Frieren and Himmel, and like what it means between Frieren and Stark as well, right? God, and so an avian dinosaur picks us up. It looks fucking crazy, honestly. skilled at concealing their mana. So I still wonder, the monsters in this world, are they all like made out of mana, you know? Because like the demons too. I mean, and demons are apparently just monsters as well. They're in the same category as all of these crazy things, right? But like when Frieren or Fern like blast them with magic, they always just dissolve into like black particles, right? Are they like made out of mana, you know? Because like they seem so like not like physical, you know what I mean? Anyway, it picks them up. Off we go in the flying carriage. Its teeth look terrifying. I wouldn't want to mess with this thing. God. We talk about how, yeah, it's only been 40 years since humankind has learned how to fly. Remember when Qual was so surprised that Frieren could fly? Of course, of course. The flying magic we use is a repurposed demon spell. It means we can't adapt it because we copied their technique without understanding the principles behind it. That's very interesting that that's possible, that they can learn how to do the magic without, like, understanding how it, like, works, you know? I don't know, I'm surprised that's possible, you know? Hmm. So we start our battle plan. Stark is supposed to jump out, but apparently he can't. Maybe he could. Maybe he should believe in himself, right? Maybe if Stark truly believed in himself, he could jump out and he would be fine. Because Eisen could do it, of course. So we come up with a plan and we got to do it immediately because this thing's gonna slam us into the ground. Some very cool shots in this episode. Man, look at Fern's face in this shot. Frieren has like the classic that face too, obviously. Some very good shot, very good shot. We made it. We survived. Thank God. We have to repair the carriage, obviously, and Frieren loses the ring, which is like awful. Thank God we find it. I don't know. I was thinking about how if she really did lose the ring, I it would have been okay, right? Like the ring is a symbol of her relationship with Himmel in a way, and a lot of it's very meaningful to her. But it would have been interesting if she did lose it, because of course, even if she lost it, it's not like she literally lost all of this stuff that Himmel meant to her, right? But I don't know. I'm kind of glad she didn't. At the same time, that's just not the angle we went, right? And maybe I'm happy about that. So, thank God it's starting to get warmer. I wonder. I mean, the last winter and when we were even more south than this was so terrible. Are the winters from this point on really gonna get even worse? Like, God, man, spent 3 hours choosing a gift. It is interesting how, for Fern and Stark, Stark is the one who chose it for her because Fern wanted him to, right? For Himmel and Frieren, Himmel had Frieren pick out what she wanted, you know? I don't know what to really think about that. Um, I don't know. It's interesting, though. Says something about them. You know, Stark, honestly, you could just ask her if she likes it, right? Like, this is what I mean that on Stark's side as well, you could do a little bit better. You could just be like, "Hey, Ferd, do you like this?" You know? But I don't know. I don't know. But Stark figured it out. Stark figured it out that she likes it. So there we go. He managed to crack through the shell, apparently. It means eternal love. I mean, it's fitting. Come on. And she likes it, so come on. We're not gonna get a replacement, obviously. Hmm. Yet another montage. We get two montages in this episode. Really spoiling me with that. Fern, what are you doing? You can't, like. I guess Fern's used to it. I don't know. Maybe she needs the warmth. But I guess also it's probably Fern sleeping restlessly because, yeah, she wants to look for the ring. Man, thank God we found it. Hmm. And Frieren just wants to give up on it. which is interesting. She's used to losing things, and that's why I think it is actually so meaningful that we found it, because of course, I don't want Frieren to be used to losing things, right? I think that's this kind of her resigning herself to just losing these things and then being gone forever. That's like so sad. That's kind of the whole thing about her character, right? So, no, it's good that she found the ring, right? It's good. It's good. But of course, Himmel did know about it, obviously. And the merchant gives her the spell to find lost accessories. Thank God. I like so much that like through Frieren's Frieren always wants to find random spells like this, right? She always does, and it's through getting this random spell that she's able to maintain this connection of her and Himmel. And that's why she liked finding them so much too, is because of like Himmel liking them and her buddies liking them. It's great. It's great. Choose whatever you like, and she just picks one out. Not even knowing how meaningful it is in a way, but Himmel does, and maybe that's what's important. And through her having picked out that ring, even if in that moment she just kind of picked one, it became very meaningful to her over time, right? Of course. And there it is. God. And so he puts it on her like this, man. Really. Hmm. And she gets it back, thank God. Maybe, maybe. By the way, why are you wearing a mirrored lotus bracelet? Oh, what a good episode. What a good episode. I don't know, just really good. Really liked that one. Really liked that one. But yeah, I guess that's it. I feel like there's more I could say about this, but I always feel like that. I always feel like I could talk forever. But when every episode at this point is an hour long for every series I'm doing, I gotta learn maybe how to make them more brief and like word myself better. But we'll get there eventually. It'll be a work in progress. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Leave a comment to what you think, and I will see you in the next one.